We're kicking off the new year with a phenomenal 80s TV series called Mr. Belvedere, a classic TV sitcom that is full of traditional family values, laugh out loud comedy, and a phenomenal cast that you'll absolutely fall in love with. This is a quality family TV show, and it's perfect for children of all ages. I'll share the top 5 themes woven throughout the series, how it connects to a recent Dave Rubin podcast episode with Patricia Heaton, and where you can actually watch it. But there's just one catch I need to tell you about. Welcome to Wholesome TV Picks, the only podcast where every recommendation comes from 35 plus years of watching wholesome TV your family can actually trust. If you want clean, uplifting content for family movie night without the endless scrolling, I'm here to help. Before we dive in, make sure you follow the show so you never miss a weekly pick that makes family time easy. Let's jump into today's episode. Allow me to introduce to you the Owens family. George and Marcia, played by Bob Uecker and Eileen Graff. Their 3 kids, Wesley, Kevin, and Heather, played by Rob Stone, Tracy Wells, and Bryce Beckham. And then, of course, there's Mr. Belvedere, played by none other than Christopher Hewitt. He's supposed to just be the housekeeper, but he becomes their confidant, their counselor, and above all, their friend. This show is all about family and the ups and downs we all experience in one way or another. The chemistry this cast has reminds me of Family Ties, another wholesome TV show worth checking out. Everyone just clicks on and off screen. It's just amazing. Wesley's the troublemaker, always getting into mischief, and he and Mr. Belvedere are constantly going at it. But it's absolutely hilarious. Then you've got the supporting characters who add even more humor. There's Angela, Heather's best friend, who can never remember Mr. Belvedere's name. Every time she walks in, you know she's going to call him something ridiculous. A few of the crazy names she calls him are Mr. Bellyflop, Mr. Bumblebee, Mr. Bedwetter, and Mr. Baby Boomer. It's just hilarious. And in the later seasons, we have Mrs. Cicchini, who's a spunky elderly neighbor of Kevin's, the oldest Owens child when he's living on his own, who's full of life and adds a whole new dimension of humor. I can only hope I have half her energy when I'm her age. Between Angela, Mrs. Cicchini, and the whole Owens family, this show has jokes throughout every episode. And you have to remember, back in the 80s, there was no political correctness policing comedy. Mr. Belvedere's on the heavier side, so there are plenty of fat jokes. But that's what made this comedy work back then. People didn't take it personally. Comedy could just be comedy to make everyone laugh. And everyone in the show is made fun of, not just Mr. Belvedere. Above all, the family loves each other. They're close, they help each other, support one another. I mean, they're not perfect, and they have arguments like any family, but they work through them. You see marriage struggles and kids doing what kids do, disobedience, lying, scheming, doing anything to get what they want, and learning harsh lessons when they go after them the wrong way. Which brings me to the top themes of this show, which does a fabulous job of teaching kindness, empathy, friendship, dealing with crisis, peer pressure, and so much more. You have some episodes that have heavier themes. I'm going to give you some examples. There's an episode where Wesley's in middle school, I think season 5 or 6, and he meets this popular kid he's supposed to tutor. But instead of actually tutoring him, Wesley ends up doing his homework. And then Wesley gets the bright idea to turn it into a business, charging his other classmates to do their homework too. But he discovers a secret about why this cool kid won't do his own work. I won't spoil it, but it's a very powerful episode. In another one, Wesley befriends a kid nobody likes. He's tall, overweight, and nerdy. And, just like kids in schools, other kids make fun of him. But Wesley has a connection with him through comic books. And then Wesley throws a party and feels ashamed to invite his friend, and then it ends up blowing up in his face. And he says some very mean, unkind words to his friend. When my daughter and I watched this one, she was shocked and said, "Mom, Why would he say that? How could he treat his friend like that? And, it just sparked an interesting conversation between us. His sister, Heather, goes through what so many young girls face, feeling like she's not pretty enough, trying to fit in. In one episode, she has a job and a boy she likes starts taking advantage of her at work. And she has to decide whether or not to speak up and risk him not liking her anymore. There are so many storylines that I can't fit it into this short episode. But one of the best things about this show is what happened at the end of certain episodes. Back in the day, shows like Mr. Belvedere included PSAs, public service announcements, at the end when episodes dealt with heavy themes. There's one episode in season 5 where Wesley goes to summer camp and meets a counselor who takes an inappropriate interest in him. Wesley keeps it secret, but it changes him and his personality. He doesn't know how to deal with it. But eventually another situation arises that forces him to speak up. This episode was and always is deeply personal for me. I went through the same thing when I was about 12 years old, being molested by an older cousin. When I saw this particular episode, I genuinely believe God was speaking to me through the TV. I know some people might think that's crazy, but I truly believe it. At the end, Christopher Hewitt and Bryce Beckham talked about good touch, bad touch, and the importance of telling somebody. Within that same week, I saw a Power Rangers PSA and then an America's Most Wanted PSA, all about the same thing. And that's when I knew I needed to tell someone. And I did. I never saw any of those PSAs again. It was all God. This show is fantastic, and I can't recommend it enough. Your family will laugh out loud, and you'll simultaneously grow in your relationships, thus bringing your family closer together. That's what's so powerful about old TV like this. You just can't find it anymore. Writers don't create quality TV like this, and it's sad. Recently, on the Dave Rubin podcast, he interviewed Patricia Heaton. You may know her from Everybody Loves Raymond and The Middle. And she talked about this exact thing, how streaming changed everything, and how, like Everybody Loves Raymond, was kind of the last show at the turn of the 2000s that still had great comedy without the political correctness, and it was taped in front of a live audience, just like Mr. Belvedere. She called it the golden era of TV. I'd push that golden era back even further. But here's what Patricia said that really stuck with me. Back then, everyone on set was focused on making the show successful. Nobody cared about anyone's political opinions or what side of the aisle they were on, because everybody was laser focused on making a great show families could enjoy together. And that's what's missing today. That's why I'm bringing you these TV show recommendations to remind families wholesome entertainment like this still exists. And the way we consumed TV back then made that family connection even stronger. Patricia also talked about how TV used to bring people together. We don't have that anymore. Now we're drowning in streaming options, and everyone watches separately on their own devices, for the most part. When I was growing up, if you didn't have a VCR or you weren't home when your show aired, you missed it, period. So families gathered around the TV together. They watched and talked about it the next day with friends and neighbors. She also mentioned the Warner Ranch, where the iconic fountain from the Friends credits lived, and the Bewitched and Walton's houses and the Lethal Weapon house all stood. All of that TV history was leveled to build numerous sound stages because of the push for streaming content. Now it's nothing but empty sound stages. All that history destroyed for nothing. I talk about something similar that happened at CBS where I used to work. That studio is now an empty shell of what it used to be. If you want to hear more about this, you can check out my bonus episode from October 29th, Inside the Fall of Wholesome TV Shows and What You Lost. It gives a ton of background on why I do this show as well. Patricia Heaton isn't the only industry person saying this either. Stephen Baldwin said the same thing on the PBD podcast last year. He explained how the entertainment funnel used to be so small and selective, and streaming blew that funnel wide open. Now there's no quality, just quantity, trying to fill an endless void. So here's the catch. You can't find Mr. Belvedere streaming on any major platform. The only place I've found it is on YouTube. The quality varies. Most episodes are totally watchable, some are grainy, but don't let the YouTube thing stop you, please. This show is absolutely worth it. I'll leave links in the show notes so you can just click and watch. You can't go wrong with Mr. Belvedere. It's a wonderful, family-friendly TV show you can totally binge with your family. Watching it always feels like a warm hug. Comforting, humorous, family-centered, with storylines that carry you from season to season. That's it for today. Next week is episode 50, a milestone for any new podcaster. So I'm celebrating by sharing one of my favorite sequels of all time. One with a character that will capture your heart, your kids' hearts, and leave a lasting impression for years to come. Don't miss it. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your week. Don't forget, your values matter and your TV should too. Catch you next week. Take care.